Okay, good vach to all. Good vach to all. We're up to Daf Gimel Amid Aleph. Let's go ahead and a quick review, and we'll segue into the Gemara. The Mishnah had said two people are holding on to a talis. Zel manish, ani mitzasiya v'zemu kulishali, zel mitziyas kulishali. We said it's speaking about two cases. Ani mitzasiya is a case of mitziyas. The case of kulishali, they both gave money. In the case of mekach memka, they're claiming that they both entitled to it. It's theirs. They bought it. We said the halacha is that they swear that they don't have less than half and divide it out of shua. The Gemara wanted to suggest that it's not like Ben Nanis. Ben Nanis is speaking in the case of Chinvani al Pin Kasai, where a person went ahead and he wanted to pay off his workers, and he told the shopkeeper, "Do me a favor, pay off the workers." Shopkeeper claims he paid off the workers. The workers claim they never got the money. So said the Tana Takama, they both swear, they collect. Says Ben Danis, how could they make a shvua shav if they're both going to swear? One of them is vaday lying, so just give it without a shvua. So he can't be the Tana of our Mishnah, because our Mishnah says you make a shvua, and he says you collect without a shvua. And the Gemara made the chilik over there. One's vaday ramay over here. It could be they're both telling the truth because they both grabbed it at the same time. We then suggested maybe the Mishnah is not like Sumchis of Baba Kama fame. We had him going ahead, and the animal was gored. They found the fetus in the side of the animal, or the animal gored, and you found the fetus inside of the animal. Either way, the question was, well, do you collect from the fetus? And the Gemara said, without a shvua. You probably without a shvua. We wanted to say that what a Mishnah requires a shvua is not like Sumchis. And the Gemara concluded that in fact that Sumchis agrees over here that to stop a person from going ahead and just grabbing onto another person's object and claiming that what it was his, and therefore he would admit to a shvua. So at this point in time, Ben Manis can be the Tana of the Mishnah, and Sumchis can be the Tana of the Mishnah. We're now going to go ahead and suggest the Mishnah is not like Rabbi Yossi. What's the case of Rabbi Yossi? What's the case of Rabbi Yossi? We have two people. They entrust somebody to watch something. One's worth 100 and one's worth 200. One was entrusted with $100. The other one was trusted to watch $200. They're both claiming the $200. They're both claiming the $200. So they both vaday have 100. They both vaday have 100. And the question is on the other 100. Says the Tanakama, each person gets their vaday. Each person gets 100. And the other 100 that's questionable, we put it and we let it rest until Eliyahu will come along and tell us who belongs to. Says Rabbi Yossi, clearly one of them is lying. Clearly one of them only has 100, not 200. If he's going to get what is his, what's to stop him? So you know what? Everything stays over. The whole hakol munach Eliyahu. Now, since he knows that it's going to stay till Eliyahu and he's going to lose his $100, it's going to incentivize the person not to lie or to tell the truth. Okay, so the assumption is that in the case over here, my have said a Ramai, and therefore, since we say you do take with a shvua, it can't be like Rabbi Yossi. Now, so we're going to go ahead, just like we proved that the Mishnah could be like Menanis. We proved the Mishnah could be like Sumchis. We're going to prove the Mishnah could be like Rabbi Yossi. So so the case is one person entrusted $200, another person $100. They're both claiming the 200 is theirs. Each one gets the 100 according to the Tanakama, and the Yehei Munach on the 100. According to Rabbi Yossi, the whole kit and caboodle is Yehei Munach. So we're up to Gimel Amid Aleph, and about 8-9 lines down. So let's say the Mishnah is not like Rabbi Yossi. Dike Rabbi Yossi, ha'amri imkein ma'hefsed ramai. In the case of 200, 100, what's the Ramai losing by claiming that the 100 is by claiming that the 200 is mine? He has nothing to lose. He's going to get the 100. So therefore, he says, the whole thing until Eliyahu comes, the whole thing stays, and therefore he can't be the Tana Mishnah. Now, mashma, but the Rabbanon who argue on Rabbi Yossi could be the Tana of our Mishnah, right? Now, what did they say? They said each one gets 100, and you have on the other 100 Yehei Munach. Why don't we view that other 100 like the case of them both holding on to the talis? there's a doubt. There's a doubt in that object. In other words, each one has 100. The shaila is on the 100. The shaila here is on the talus. So in our Mishnah, we say that you divide it with a shvua. He says when it's a suffix, yehei munach. So says the Gemara, forget that the Mishnah is not like Rabbi Yossi. It's not even like the Rabbanan who argue on Rabbi Yossi. Because the suffix of the Rabbanan on that 100, yehei munach, and that suffix you're dividing with a shvua. As I state in the Gemara, Elamai Rabbanon. You're going to tell me it's the Rabbanon? Kivin the Ami Rabbanon, Hashar, the extra 100, yehei munach at Shiyabe Eliyahu, is going to stay until Eliyahu comes. Hanami kishar dami. Our whole case of the talus is like a shar. There it's the suffix on the 100. Here the suffix on the whole talus. The sveikahi. It's a sveik. So what are you telling me that it's not like Rabbi Yossi? It's not like the Rabbanon either. Says the Merhaimai. 1 second. I can tell a chilik over there why that 100 is going to remain, and over here you divide it with a shua. Hasam devadai hamana dechad minayu. That 100, it can't be both of them. It's only one of them. Because again, one entrusted 200, one entrusted 100. So the one who entrusted 100 does not have shaykhs to that one. Therefore, Amir Rabbanan yemunach achiyav Eliyahu. Hacha the iklemei mitrevayuhu. Over here, the talis ken zayin it what? It's both of theirs. As we said, they picked it up at the same time. They bought it. They both gave money. Amir Rabbanan pagi b'shvua. So in other words, your idea that it can't be the Chachamim, I have a clear distinction why it could be the Chachamim. What's the distinction? The Chachamim hold over there Yehei Munach, because Vadai, there is a person that doesn't belong to. And therefore Yehei Munach. But in our Mishnah, there's no Vadai a person doesn't belong to. It could be they both picked it up. It could be they both bought it. Therefore Palgi B'Shua. What are you going to say? It's Rabbi Yossi that the whole thing remains. Even the Vadai 100 that each one has remains. Hashta, Uma Hasa, by the case of the hundreds. The Bivadai Ikamona Lamar, the Ikamona Lamar. Each one Vadai has 100. Ami Rabbi Yossi, Heimuna Chachiyav Eliyahu. Hacha, the Ikalamem with the Chadminayahu. There's a sorrow to say that it only belongs to one. Like Kol Shekain, it should say Eliyahu. Okay, so let's speak it out. What's Rabbi Yossi hold? That 200, 100, the whole thing is remaining. The whole thing is remaining. Okay. Over there, there's definitely a person taking a loss because they vadai have 100. And you're telling him you're not getting back your 100. And he says, hey, munach. Over here, right? Over here, the assumption of the Gemara is it vadai belongs to one of them. So maybe says the Gemara, right? Hasam vadai ikara. If over there where vadai you have something, you don't get it back. Over here where you certainly don't have something, it could only belongs to one of them, you shouldn't get it back. So the din in our Mishnah should be Yehimunach. We're extrapolating from there what the din should be over here. Madach, where you vadai have 100, you don't get it. Certainly by a talus where you have nothing, you shouldn't get it. Again, the assumption is the talus belongs to one of them and not the other. So therefore you have nothing. So madach, a place where you vadai have something, says Rabbi Yossi, you don't get it. In a place where you have nothing, certainly you shouldn't get it. Yet the din is palgei b'shvua. So therefore Rabbi Yossi can't be the Tan of our Mishnah. Guys, you good? He can't be the Tan of a Mishnah. Now, the assumption is that the talus only belonged to one of them. And the Gemara right away gets off this and shows why Rabbi Yossi could be the Tan of the Mishnah. Afilu Tamer Rabbi Yossi. You can even say the Mishnah is Rabbi Yossi. Hasam Vadai Ikaramai. Over there by the 100 to 200 is a liar. If they're both claiming 200, one of them is lying. Pacha Miyema de Ikaramai. How do you know there's a liar? They both picked it up at the same time. Inami, Hasam, another passage. Okay, so that in other words, he could be the Tan of the Mishnah. Okay, let's again answer up. Rabbi Yossi, I see a tremendous chilik between the Yehei Munach over there and the Palga B'Shvua in our Mishnah. Over there certainly is a liar. We're going to palga, you're going to divide up the 100, give it 150 to one and 150 to the other? Of course not. You You can't do that. It makes no sense. Give 151. Person only has 100. He's going to gain by lying. You just incentivize a person to start lying, right? You're going to give him $150 when he only gave 100? Of course not. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So Yehemunach Hashiyav Eliyahu. And you know what? Since it's going to go ahead and he's going to lose his money, he'll admit the truth or he won't do it in the first place. Mashen came over here, the person, they both picked it up. Why should you be a Yehemunach over here? They Vadai Kenzain, they both picked it up. And if they both picked it up, right? If they both picked it up, there's no liar over here. And therefore, Rabbi Yossi would agree in that situation that Pal give a shvua. So Rabbi Yossi could be the Tan of the Mishnah. Another possible terrace that we're going to slug up, Inami, Hasam Kanislei, Rabbi Yossi Ramai. There, we gave a kanas to the Ramai, Kehechi Deloidi, that he should admit the truth. So we cancel him by taking away his 100. Hachamai Psi the Islay, Deloide. What loss is there that he should admit it? No, he's not losing anything. Now, 1 second, guys. There were 2 cases in the Mishnah. What was the first case? Metzia. What was the second case? Mekach u'memka. By Metzia, it's a svara that you didn't lose anything because you didn't give anything. But by Mekach u'memka, you bought it. If we're going to tell you Yemunach, you are going to take a loss. You both gave money. Says the Gemara, Teinach Metzia. That's very good on the case of Ani Mitzvah Sia, that there's no loss. You'll say that what? That a person would gain nothing by Yemunach. But Mekach u'memka, if they both gave money for it, and you're going to say Yemunach, right? You should say Yemunach, because the guy's going to take a look. It's Ma'ikla Meimar. The first teretz is the correct teretz. This teretz that we go ahead and we're holding it back to admit the truth doesn't work in our Mishnah, because in our Mishnah we also would hold it back to tell the truth in the case of Mekach u'memka. So the only case is that over there Vadai there's a liar in El Mechavarta Kiddushin Meikar. It's correct, like we said. The first teretz over there there's Vadai a liar. Only the one who's saying 100, who only gave 100 is lying. Over here Ikal Meima, they both picked it up at the same time. Okay, so now what do we have? We have the Mishnah could be according to Ben Nanis. That's the case of Chen Bani up in Kasai. We have the Mishnah could be according to Sumchis, that Cholkin B'mamin, they threw a shvu on, right? That to make sure that he won't go ahead and grib. And the Mishnah could be according to Rabbi Yossi, Yehemunach Hachiyav Eliyahu, because over here there's a svara to say it belongs to both of them. Now, the Gemara now is going to analyze how Rabbi Yossi and Rabbanon would deal with Chen Bani up in Kasai. So again, in the case of 200, 100, says the Chachamim, they each get 100, the rest Yehemunach. Says Rabbi Yossi, the whole thing's Yehemunach. What's the case of Chen Bani up in Kasai, where you both collect from they both swear, according to the Tanakama, they both swear and they collect from the balabas. They both collect from the balabas. Good? Now, Bein Rabbanon, who says that Yehemunach's only on the extra 100, Bein Rabbi Yossi, who says Yehemunach's on the whole thing, Hasam Gabi Chen Bani up in Kasai, Diktani, Zen Nishba v'Noitel, Zen Nishba v'Noitel, each one swears and collects from the balabas. Maishnad Loyaminon, Nafkelim Moinim Balabayas, take the money out of the balabayas. The Yemunach Hachiyav Eliyahu, the Vada Ikaramai. Guys, he told the balabas to go ahead and he told the Chenvani to go ahead and pay. Chenvani said he's paid. The poil, the worker said he never received it. You have a Vada lawyer, correct? You have a Vada lawyer, yes? You have a Vada lawyer. What do the Chachamim hold when there's a Vada lawyer? Yehemunach Hachiyav Eliyahu. So why don't over there they offer that? Why do they say each one swears and collects? Why don't you say take the 100, whatever the amount that the poil was supposed to get paid? Let's say it's $100. Take the $100 from the balabas. Yehemunach Hachiyav Eliyahu, because Vadai, either the shopkeeper's lying or the poil's lying. And we saw by the case of the 200, 100, where there's a Vadai liar, the Chachamim, both Chachamim and Rabbi Yossi both agree Yehemunach. The question is how much, but they agree Yehemunach. So why are you making the balabas where each one swears, the shopkeeper swears he gave it, the poil swears he never received it, and they're collecting mat from the guy? Why is that? That's the Gemara's kasha. Says the Gemara, Amri, Hasam over there by the case of Chenvani up in Kasai, Hainu Taima, the reason why they each collect, the Amri Chenvani Balabayas. What does the Chenvani tell the Balabayas? Anoshli Chusa di Dochka of dinner. I did your shlichus. You wanted me to pay? I went ahead, I paid. I did my shlichus. I went ahead and paid. My isle gabe sacher. What is there to me by this worker that he's going to swear that he didn't get it? Afagav the komishtabali that he swore, he's a Russia. I know I gave it to him. He's going to swear that he never received it. The guy's a Russia. I know I gave it to him. His shvur is meaningless to me that he didn't receive it. At Hemanta, you believed him. You, the balabas, believed this sacher, the layamr li besade havle. You believed him so much that you didn't tell me to give it over in front of Adam. What would have been the best way? You would have told me to pay in front of Adam, and we wouldn't have a problem. But you believed him so much. You believed him, let him swear to you. He doesn't have to swear to me. Let him swear to you. So therefore, says the Chenvani has a winning taina. The Nami, and the Sacha also has a winning taina. Amalei balabas. I work for you. My Istigabi Chenvani. The Chenvani is going to say he paid me, and I'm going to swear he didn't. I don't believe him. Therefore, they both have a taina, and they both swear to the balabas. Okay, Yoitzimid Varenu at the end. We're holding at the end of the first segment of the first sugya in Masechta Bava Metzia that the Mishnah can be according to Benanis. Right, Benanis again, just to go Ibba. Benanis Chenvani up in Kasai, who said that what they both don't swear and they both collect because one of them is very lying. Over in our Mishnah, why they're swearing, and the answer is why? Because over there, one is certainly lying. Over here, one of them is not zicha lying. They both can be holding on to it. We said the same thing by why you're swearing like sumchis maman al mutabasafik where cholkin b'loy shvua. Over here, the shvua is simply that it's a deterrent that a person should come along and grab and hold on to somebody else. Rabbi Yossi would agree over here that the talus is not yehimunach because the possibility exists that it belongs to both of them, as opposed to the case of the 200, 100 where it belonged to only one of them. Okay. Masechta Bava Metzia is very hard, guys. The next sugya is the paper trail on the sugya is very, very hard. It's very, very hard. I will summarize and I'll do the best I can. But again, it's hopefully it won't be so frustrating. Okay, fellas, listen up. We know there's a shul in the Torah called Moedim and Miktsas. If a guy claims you owe him $200, he's moeded onto 100. He swears that he doesn't owe the other 100. Again, guys, swearing in the midaraisa is always to get you off the hook. That's always remember. When you swear, you're swearing to get off the hook. So you swear that what? I don't owe you that other 50. You're 100, you're claiming 50. I swear I don't owe the other 50. Let's say a guy goes ahead and says, I have 100 in your hands. And he says, I owe you nothing. There's no shur there, midaraisa. You're not moed on anything. Adam come along and say, you owe him 50. Adam come along and say, you owe 50. Is that equal to Moedim and Miktsas and have to swear on the other 50? In other words, he's claiming I owe nothing. This guy's claiming you owe me 100. He says I owe you nothing. Adam come along and say you owe 50. Says Reb Chia, he swears because his haidah that he would say with his own mouth shouldn't be better than Haggadah's Eidos. His haidah, again, just like his haidah could go ahead and be mechayev him to swear that he doesn't know the other 50, the Eidos over here could be mechayev him to swear that he doesn't know the 50. He's going to have to pay 50. The Adam said, we believe Adam. That's the sugya. And that sugya is there's a kal v'chomer. And the kal v'chomer is the problem. Okay, so it's very challenging. Guy says, you know what? You have a mana. There's a mana of yours, 100. It's 100 zuz. Let's use dollars. It's 100 zuz of yours in my hand. But lo Omar, and he says, Ein l'cha b'yadi klum. I have nothing of yours. For Adam I say, sheyesh lo chamishim zuz. And Adam testified that he has 50. He has $50. So in other words, Adam are making it into a mixed situation. Noisin la chamishim zuz. He gives him 50 because of the Adam. V'yishava al ashar, and he swears he doesn't owe the other 50. In other words, what did the Adam do? They just turned this into a traditional Moedim Miktsas, even though he was kaifer b'kol. Shleitei haidos piv gedoyle me'ados Adam. His haidah from his mouth shouldn't be any better than haidos Adam in kal v'chomer. In other words, there's a kal v'chomer that you might think that it is better. Kamash one, it's not. Vitana tuna, and our Mishnah is a raya. Vitana, a tana is a raya to Reb Chia. Vitana tuna. Shnayim oichsim b'talis. Ze oimani mitzasiyah, v'ze oimani mitzasiyah. V'hohacha, even the toughest, since they're holding on to part of the talis, anan sahade demad toughest, haididehu, umay the toughest, haididehu. Whatever they're holding on to is like there's adis on that part, guys. And now, each one is claiming you owe nothing. Guys, fear ice. Guys, look at me, fear ice. I'm holding on to this thing. He's holding on to this part. He's holding on to this part, like this, right? Each one's holding on to this part. I'm claiming the whole thing, and he's claiming the whole thing. I'm claiming the whole thing. He's claiming the whole thing. So I'm basically saying that you owe nothing. He's saying you have nothing. Each one is saying you have nothing. I say it's all mine. You say it's all mine, right? But there's Adim that I have at least, there's Adis that what? I have part of it. What's the Adis I have part of it? My fingers. My fingers are the Adis that I have part of this. And what's the din of the Mishnah? You make a shvua. Each one swears. So that's the raya to Reb Chia's din, where each person said, a person makes a claim, this is mine, and you owe it to me. And this guy says, I have nothing. I owe you nothing. And Adam come and say, you owe half or part of it. That's our Mishnah. That's our Mishnah. Now there are a lot of kashas on this, but this is the Havamina is that this is a shvua deraisa. The Havamina is that this is a shvua deraisa moedav mixas, and it's a raya to Reb Chia's din. Says Reb Chia, Adim are not worse than your own mouth. If in your own mouth you would say you'll be moedah, you'd make a shvua. If Adim caused you to pay part of it, you'd make a shvua. That's Reb Chia's din. Says the Mishnah, that's exactly the same thing over here. The Gemara. What I'm holding on to is Adis that this is mine. Yet each person's claiming it's not. So, but you have Adim that it is. And yet you're making a shvua. And that shvua would be the Havamina is Moedah Mixas. Okay, Dov, what's your problem?
When the Adim come, when he denies everything, and the Adim come and say you'll have, they're not only saying that, but they're making him, they're proving that he's a liar. When the guy's Moedah Mixas on his own, he's admitting part. When if I deny the whole thing and two Adim come say no, you owe 50, obviously I'm lying already. And it's Adis that I'm lying.
Okay, so again, we could say that this guy maybe maybe he's not a liar, maybe he's just buying time. When the guy claimed 100 and he's saying that I owe you nothing, he's not necessarily denying it totally. Maybe he is denying it totally, but maybe he's not a liar. In other words, in terms of being a Russian, not being able to make a shvua, which is what I really have to know, he's just buying time. He wants to buy time to pay off the loan. So that would be the Gemara is going to discuss that. Okay, and the Gemara is really good. Guys, do you have the parallel? You have the corollary? So again, it's 3 steps over here. First step is Reb Chia's din. Second thing is the kal v'chomer that we're going to deal with soon. And the third thing is the Tana Tuna is the raya from our Mishnah. The raya from our Mishnah is you holding on to it is like what? It's like Adis. Each one is saying that that you have nothing. Yet you're making a shvua over here, and that's a raya to Rav Chia, who says that Aiden could mechayim yeshua moedah mixas. That's what the Gemara is saying right now. Okay, now my shaloi v'katani yeshava. Now my shaloi tehei hoidos piv gedola mehados Aiden mekal v'chomer. Okay, now there's a kal v'chomer that in other words, you needed a kal v'chomer to tell me that Adis is not worse than your piv. Look at Rashi, guys. My loitei oidos piv gedolim edos edim. That's 8 lines up. Meheicha teisalon. Where would you think lemedic the teisik adaitin that it should enter your mind that the hey oidos piv gedolim edos edim the itzrich l'tana lamelef kal v'chomer the loitei oidos piv gedolim edos edim. In other words, you would have a havamina, fellas, that your mouth is better than Eidos, that you needed a kal v'chomer to tell me it's not. That's what we're saying over here. The Gemara, we're inferring from the words of the Gemara, without this Kal V'chomer, I wouldn't say Eidus would be mechayev me a shvua. It's because of this Kal V'chomer that Eidus is better than your mouth, or as good as your mouth. Where would I think that Eidus is worse than your mouth? Mehechatesa, where would you think that? That's what the Gemara wants to deal with. Says the Gemara, my shleit hey haydos piv gadol me'dos Eidem mikal v'chomer shleit toimer haydos piv hu the rami rachman shvu alaha. Why did the Torah? We just had this in Baba Kama. If it sounds familiar, guys, why did the Torah go ahead and throw a shvu on him? Kid the Rabba, like Rabbi's din. Dama Rabba. If they mount on the Torah, moidav mixes a tiny yeshava. Why does the Torah say if you moidav mix this, you go ahead and make a shvu? Chazaka ein edim meis panav b'fnei bal chayv. In other words, if this person lent you money, he was so nice to you, you can't have the possible chutzpah to deny that. Where's my 100? You're gonna have a chutzpah and say, I don't owe you anything? No person has that chutzpah. V'hai b'kula boy dinechapre. And really, therefore, if he's kaifer, right, he wants to be kaifer everything, but he can't. And that's the reason. In other words, really, when the guy said he owes 100, he wants to owe you nothing. But he can't do that because he doesn't have chutzpah. So why would he say, I owe you 50? The high, b'kula boy delay, and really, he should admit the whole thing. The high oidi ishtamuti hadakam ishtamet minei. He's slipping away from him to buy some time. Savar adahavele zuze until I have money. Paranale, I'll pay him up. V'amrachman, and the Torah says, Rami shvu aleha, throw a shvu on him. Ki heichi delay b'kula, in order she be maida to the whole thing. So therefore, that's by piv. Aval hados edim the lekal hachi, but edim show up and say you owe 100. Ema loy kamash v'lon kal v'chomer. Okay, guys, beautiful svara, guys. Outside, eye contact. Rabbi is making the following corollary. Just like moed b'miktsas, makes a shvua, so too if edim make you be say you owe part of it, you make a shvua. Because I have a svara, and it's a kal v'chomer that you should, because there's a svara that this should be better than edim. Why? Really, I want to be kaifer b'kol. Really, I want to be kaifer b'kol. I want to, but I can't. Why can't I? Because you were so nice to me and lent me money. So what do I want to do? I'll say 50. Why will I say 50? To buy some time. So what happens if I am kaifer b'kol? What am I am kaifer b'kol? It must be I don't owe you any money, right? Comes along Adam now and say, I owe you 50. Maybe you don't swear. Because the whole shvu is predicated upon an underlying svara of trying to buy some time. But I openly said, I don't owe you anything. So you would think, therefore, even though Adam say you owe 50 and you're paying 50, you shouldn't swear. Kamash kal v'chomer that you do swear. That's what the Gemara says right now. Again, there's a svara to say that even though when I admit myself I make a shvua, there's a svara to say when it's Adam are making me pay, I don't make a shvua. Why? Because the whole reason for this shvua is Rabbi's din. A person doesn't have chutzpah to go ahead and deny the good that a person did for him. Really, he wants to deny the whole thing, but he can't. So if he denies part of it, it's to buy time. What happens if he does deny the whole thing? So I would say that Radi Taka doesn't know him. Well, right? Or he's right? Or he's a mechutza that's chasher on a shvua. Comes along Adam and say you're 50, maybe you don't swear. Kamashman kal v'chomer that you do swear. Now the rest of the Gemara and tomorrow's first part of the daf is to figure out this kal v'chomer. So again, it's kal v'chomer. The kal v'chomer is that Adis is better than Piv. And therefore, if Piv causes me to swear, Adis also will cause me to swear. And that's what we're trying to do right now. Says the Gemara, Umay kal v'chomer. What is the kal v'chomer? Uma Piv, a person who admits with his own mouth. She'ein mechayv mammon. Piv can't be mechayv money. If you're Piv, if you're moida, and we'll explain this in a second what it means. If you're moida, it's not mechayv money. Mechayv shvua, but if I admit it's mechayv shvua moed mitzvahs, edim shemechayv ma'aseh mamin, edim that could be mechayv in money with their testimony, ein edin shemechayv shvua. Is it not a kal v'chomer? So that's the kal v'chomer. There's a svara to say again that piv you make a shvua and edis you don't. Kal v'chomer that what that if piv makes you make a shvua, edis will make a shvua. Madach piv, which is not mechayv money, is mechayv shvua moed mitzvahs. Edis, which could be mechayv money, ein edin that can be mechayv shvua moed mitzvahs. For the Gemara, piv ein mechayv mamin, for hadas baldin k'mei edim dami. Hadas baldin, if a person admits that he owes money, he pays. So what do you mean the hadas baldin? You began your whole kal v'chomer with hadas baldin, right? That you're not mechayv money, but you are. It says my mammon is kanas. We know moed b'kanas is pata, guys, right? We know asher yishino kim pratim shia says that's my. So madach piv, which can't be mechayv money. Shei mechayv knas, which can be mechayv knas, mechayv shvua, can be mechayv shvua. Edim shemechayv nasei knas, edim which could be mechayv knas, ein edin shemechayv shvua. This is not what edin that you mechayv shvua. Good. So now you have a good kal v'chomer. Now you have a good kal v'chomer. All right, guys, let's just go through the step. Let's go. I want to make sure you're following the paper trail. What's the paper trail? That there's a svara to say that shvua moed mitzvahs is only when you say it yourself, but not with edis. That's Rabbi's din. We have a kal v'chomer to say if you say it b'piv, you're going to say it shvua. Madach piv, which I'm moed by knas and pata. Yet if I go ahead, I'm moed mitzvahs chayv shvua. Edis, which could be mechayv knas, ein oidin, they can mechayv shvua. That's the kal v'chomer. Very nice, easy kal v'chomer. Easy kal v'chomer. Says the Gemara. 1 second, I got a kasha in your kal v'chomer. Well, what's your kasha in the kal v'chomer? Ma'ala piv shekei mechayev a korban. A piv can be mechayev me a korban. If a person says that I was chayta, I did a chait, and I ate chaylev, he can be mechayev korban chatas. Mechayev korban chatas. Ma'ala piv shekei mechayev a korban. Taima be'edim. Why do you say about edim she'em mechayev noisa korban? Edim and can be mechayev korban if he denies, right? Let's say edim say, you know what? You ate unintentionally. You ate chaylev. Unintentionally, you ate chaylev, and he says, "I didn't." You don't bring a korban. You don't bring a korban. It has to be that you were moide yourself, and not the edim came and said it's pasuk. He finds out about it, but not others telling him. So therefore, I have a kasha. A piv is stronger than edis. Piv can mechayev me a korban, and edis can't. Holei kasha. That's not shver. Rabbi Metzia Damar Edim Mechayev Nasei Korban Mikal v'chomer. He holds like Rabbi Metzia that Edim could be Mechayev me a korban, and therefore we've restored the kal v'chomer. That nan Omur loy shnayim. 2 people say achalta chaylev. You ate chaylev b'shaygeg and you chayev a korban. Hu oimer lo achalti. I didn't. Rabbi Metzia oimer mechayev. Rabbi Metzia says you chayev. The chachamim paitrim and the chachamim say you pata. So Reb Chia has a very good kal v'chomer. Madach piv can't be mechayev knas. Can mechayev mishvua. Edis, which could be mechayev knas, ein oidin is mechayev mishvua. Ayolea smile piv that can be mechayev a korban, and edis can't be mechayev a korban. Reb Chia, who said this din, holds like Reb Metzia that edis could be mechayev a korban. So you don't have a chumrah of piv over edis. You don't have a chumrah of piv over edis. Amr Reb Metzia, im heviu shnayim lidei misa chamura. If 2 people can kill a guy, lo yaviu edlei korban akal, should they not be able to go ahead and bring him to a korban kal? Amaloi ma'im mitzaloim mezer yisi. If you want to say mezer yisi yiftar, right? If you want, right? So so right now, so if you want to say mezer yisi pata. Now let's just finish the daf and I'll go back to this. Okay, we'll analyze this a little bit. This is a little shverlich over here, but right now his kal v'chomer is intact because he holds like Reb Metzia that edis could be mechayev korban. So there's no chumrah of piv over edis, and we're going back to the original kal v'chomer from kanas. Elamala piv shekei. You want a kasha? Here's a kasha. Elamala piv shekei mechayev asham. We guys remember we said that a person steals, he swears falsely, admits to that, he has to pay keren chaimish, and he has to bring a korban asham. right? That we just had that in the Baba Kama. What about if guy swears and Adam come and say he swore? He's not going to be in the Karban Asham. So you see, Piv is more chomer than Adam. The Piv, your mouth can be mechayiv you a Karban Asham, and Adam can't. So it's a kasha in the Kal V'chomer. It says, well, Asham hainu Karban. In other words, according to Reb Meir, you would be mechayiv. Adis could be mechayiv you in Asham. Elamala Piv shekame mechayiv by chaymesh. The fifth, but if Adam come, they can't be mechayiv that extra fifth or the quarter. Balekasha. So you want a kasha, elamala piv, shekain ena behachosha ubahazama. This is piv is not in the ballpark of being weakened or of shayach to say kasha zamam. Taima be'edim sheyeshna behachosha ubahazama. Okay, so now you've slugged up the kal v'chomer. We slugged up your kal v'chomer. Edus, it's by Adam, you can weaken the Adam. Two people say you killed, two people come along and say you didn't kill. Hey, that's Hakasha. Two Adam come along and say you killed on Wednesday, two people come along and say Imono Yisim Wednesday in another place. So Adis is in the parsha of Hakasha and Hazama. But a person's own Haidah, it's not Shaykh Hazama or Hakasha. So therefore you see that what? Piv in a way is stronger than Adis, or different Chomer than Adis. So we've destroyed the Kal V'chomer. Your Kal V'chomer was what? Ma'ala Piv, that can't be Mechayiv me Knas, could be Mechayiv me a Shvua. Adis, that could be Mechayiv me Knas, Eino din Mechayiv me Shvua. I got a Kash in your Kal V'chomer. Ma'ala Piv, that's not in the ballpark of Choshev Azama. Poima Be'edis, that is in the ballpark of Choshev Azama. So you see that Piv is more Chomer. So Memela, we've destroyed the Kal V'chomer right now, and therefore the Gemara tomorrow will seek the Kal V'chomer to say that Adis should be able to mechayiv me a shvua moedav mitzvahs. You're just going over this dialogue about what's going on over here with this mazid or not mazid. What exactly went over this? So let's go over. We got the Gemara today. Again, we have the Gemara. We're holding in mechanics of the Gemara. Things are good. Just to analyze that statement over there. Machloikis between Reb Meir and the Chachamim. What's going on over there? Let's spend a little time on this. Okay, can Eidim mechayiv you a carbon, a chatas. Guys, when you bring a chatas when the mezid is karis. When the mezid is karis, you're going to bring a chatas b'shoigeg. When the mezid is karis, you're going to bring a chatas b'shoigeg. Good. That's them's the apples. So now, amalei shnayim achalta chaylev. Two people say this. The mission increases. Two people say you ate chaylev. V'oimer lo yachalti. I didn't. Reb Meir mechayiv v'chachamim poitrim. Reb Meir, and maybe you shnayim l'dei misa chamura. If two eded could kill you, lo yaviu l'dei carbon akal. Should they not be able to go ahead and bring you to a carbon that's much easier than death? So amruloi ma'im yirtzaloi memezed yisi yiftar. They said to Reb Meir, if he would have said I ate on purpose, he'd be potter. If he said I ate on purpose, he'd be potter. Okay, let's see Rashi here. Amruloi shnayim achalta chelev shoygeg v'hu omer lo yachalti potter. Why is he potter? Shayachal loymar mezid yisi, because he could have said I'm a mezid. The yifta min carbon. A person who eats scale of a mezid is not chayiv a carbon. Afke sha'ama lo yachalti potter the malay l'shaker. So believe me, I didn't eat. Migu, I could have said I did eat. We're introducing the concept of migu for people who it's common or you haven't heard it in a while. We didn't hear it in Masechta Bava Kama. What's a migu? Believe me with this claim because I could have said a better claim. So believe me, I didn't eat. Migu, I could have said I did eat. Now here's a problem. That's a migu b'makam edim. B'makam edim, we don't say migu. So Rashi's problematic. So if you look at Tosfos addresses it. Says Tosfos, the Tosfos Mayim Yetzalayim and Mezid Yisi. The Lishna the Adam them. Okay, let's skip down a little bit. The on Tosfos Mayim Yetzalayim, guys, go down the second line, right? The third line down. The Ein Lefarish Mayim Yetzalayim Sheinem and Loyma Loyachalti Migu Di Boyom and Mezid Yisi. Says Tosfos, you can't say like Rashi. You can't say you believe in a migu. The migu b'makam edim hu. It's the migu in the place of edim. We don't say migu b'makam edim. El kloimer. Af masha amar lo yachalti yachal l'taretz. I could touch up his words. When he says I didn't eat, you know what he meant? Loimar lo yachalti shoygeg el amazed. We touch up his words. When he says I didn't eat. So guys, why do you think I didn't eat? I didn't eat it at all. That's not what he meant. You want to say you're chayev a carbon because you ate b'shoygeg. Loy yachalti. I didn't eat b'shoygeg. I ate b'mezid. Not amigo. We mean that that's what he said. He didn't say, we touch up his words. We don't say lo yachalti, I didn't eat it at all. We touch up his words. I didn't eat it b'shoygeg, which would mechayiv me a carbon. I ate it b'mezid, which would part me from a carbon. So it's not a din in migo at all. It's how we touch up his words. Now, we have a klal, guys. Ein odem mesim atzmei Russia. A person can make himself into a Russia. So how can you touch up his words? What? I didn't eat shoygeg, I ate mezid. What does mezid mean? I'm a Russia. I went ahead and I ate a shtik chalev. I went to McDonald's and had nevel and trefus and alles. I had a good time. So how could you do that? So it's a beautiful pshat, guys. He wants to do tshuva. If they're saying that he ate b'shoygeg, he'd have to bring a carbon. If he knows he did it b'mezid, then he's not chayiv a carbon, and that carbon would be chulin in the azara. So by saying what he's saying, guys, beautifully, he's saying I didn't eat b'mezid. He doesn't want to make himself into a Russia. What's he saying? He's saying no. I ate it b'mezid, so I can't bring that carbon because if I bring that carbon, I'm not chayiv that carbon because I was amazed. So therefore, he's not making himself into a Russia. He's chayiv b'tshuva. So Machlokes Rashi and Tosfos had to learn in the what do you mean lo yachalti? Says Rashi, believe me, lo yachalti, that I didn't me good. I could have said I did it b'mezid. Says Tosfos, no, we touch up his words lo yachalti. I went about ain't on the mesim atzmei Russia. That he wants to do tshuva. He doesn't want to make himself into a Russia, right? He wants to do tshuva and not being cool in the azar. Okay, let's just chazir what we did so far. We have Rabbi Chia's din. Rabbi Chia said that just like if a person makes a shvua on he claims the person claims 100. If you admit 50, he goes ahead and pays. So too, what a person who claims 100, the other person says I owe you nothing, and Adam say you owe 50, he'd have to go ahead and I said pay. He'd make a shvua. I meant he make a shvua on the other 50, and it's the kal v'chomer. Why would you think you don't make a shvua on the other 50? Because the whole reason for the shvua is like Rabbi, is because he wants to buy time, and really he really wants to deny the whole thing, but we don't let him deny the whole thing, and therefore what he's saying 50, but that would only apply where in a case where it was he himself was involved, but in a case where he himself went and he admitted to it, but in a case where he didn't admit to it, where he said, "What, I don't owe you anything," so why would he pay? So that's the chiddush Reb Chia. From a kal v'chomer, we say he still has to pay. He has to. He swears. Now, what the kal v'chomer is, we just attempted a kal v'chomer. We wanted to say that edus is more chomer, and we proved that 1 second. There's a more chomer that piv has over edus. Piv is not shayach hakoshev azama, where edus is shayach hakoshev azama. So maybe piv there you make a shvua, and edus you don't. In other words, edus is weaker than piv because you can override the edus. You can get rid of him by having another peer come and saying denying or hazama. Mashen came piv no. So therefore we don't have a kal v'chomer yet. And tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem in the morning, we'll figure out what the kal v'chomer is. Okay, let's say a kapitel Tehillim.